made it to Kure Beach here in North Carolina, just outside of Wilmington. Fort Fisher is one of the big historic sites out here, and we're going to do a little bit of exploring. Come along, shall you? Fort Fisher, a historic site. This is one of North Carolina's 27 designated historic sites. The sign reads, "Largest earthen coastal fortification in the Confederacy." The inscription on the stone reads, "Here stood the headquarters of Fort Fisher." The construction of the fort began in the summer of 1862. The fort served as a Confederate stronghold for most of the American Civil War, until after it was bombarded several times and eventually fell to the Union on 15 January 1865. This is the Fort Fisher Monument that commemorates not only the fort, but also the Confederate soldiers that spent 3 years of the war protecting the Port of Wilmington until they were overwhelmed in January 1865. That is the mighty eagle with its wings spread wide, resting atop a large orb. While there has been a monument here since 1921, the monument as you see it today was unveiled in 1932 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. In memory of those men of the Confederate States Army who, for more than 3 years, manned the guns of Fort Fisher under the command of Colonel William Lamb and Major James Riley. The front face has this bronze tablet depicting the Battle of Fort Fisher, which is not so easy to make out, but I can see the flag in the middle of the scene. During the war between the states, Fort Fisher defended the last open port of the Confederacy, Wilmington. Here, a combined Union naval and ground assault was repulsed on December 24th and 25th of 1864. But the fort fell 3 weeks later on January 15th, 1865, after 3 days of bombardment from 55 warships and attacks by 10,000 Union land forces. Here lies the remains of an unknown Confederate soldier, known only but to God. We've walked across the road to what remains of Fort Fisher's earthen fortifications. Originally, the earthen ramparts you see here extended across the island to the beach and beyond, behind the camera. Being made from sand, a century of weather and erosion has left little of the fort intact, which once occupied much of the tip of the island. What you see here is the northernmost extremity of the fort, a fort that had a commanding view of both the Atlantic Ocean as well as the mouth of the Cape Fear River. This view is the north rampart from what was once the inside of the fort. While many of the features of the installation have been erased by the elements, the state of North Carolina has recreated one of the gun positions atop the mound on the far left, nearest to the Cape Fear River. Let's take a stroll down the boardwalk. Here's a period photograph of one of the fort's gun positions, and there in the distance is the number 1 gun position of Shepherd's Battery, which occupied the northern wall of the fort. I'm guessing this would have been the entrance to the position's ammunition and powder stores. Let's go up and look around. The guns along this wall were pointed northward and could bring fire upon threats that approached from the island as well as on the Cape Fear River off to the left. This is a recreation of the palisade that would have secured the extreme left end of the fort wall along the Cape Fear, which also included a well-guarded sally port where visitors and soldiers were cleared both into and out of the fortification. We've made our way north of the wall to an area that would have been outside of the fort, where you can see the business end of the fort's defenses. It's a bit difficult to get an accurate impression of the size and scope of the fort. So much of it has been lost to time, weather, and erosion. It extended south from this wall about 3/4 of a mile, close to what was then the southern tip of the island. The fort's eastern defenses were built on the dry land of the island, but today, due to the shifting sands and shape of the island, that same wall would be several hundred feet out in the Atlantic Ocean. Fort Fisher is absolutely worth a visit, and the beaches here along Kure Beach are beautiful and also worth the visit. And with that, I will wrap up this explore. Until the next time, remember, life is a journey. Enjoy the ride, and thanks for watching.